Now, live from the Patriot Detroit Radio Complex, this is the John McCulloch Show.
Well, let me just say this without hesitation, that I conducted no improper discussions with Russians at any time regarding a campaign or any other item facing this country.
Okay, how do you
know? I want to say that first. And that's been the suggestion that you've raised and others. That it was somehow we had conversations that were improper.
May I suggest that...
No. You had a long time, Senator Franken. I'd like to respond.
Okay.
I think I have a...
I don't want... they're going to cut me off, and so I want to ask you some questions.
I don't, Mr. Chairman, I don't have to sit in here and listen to his...
You're the one who
charges without having a chance to respond. Give me a break.
Now, here's John.
And pardon me for using that Al Franken cut for 3 days in a row, but anytime that empty barrel can get put down by Jeff Sessions or anybody else, I'm all for it. Welcome into the Open Mouth Friday edition of the McCulloch Show here on FM 101.5 in AM 1400, The Patriot. Glad you could join us for the fastest hour in local Detroit talk radio, where your host continues serving his life sentence in reality. Be advised, here all lives matter. There is no political correctness. There are no safe zones for the snowflakes, and you will be triggered if you're triggerable. Welcome in. It is Open Mouth Friday. Then we start a half hour early because of Catholic high school football, which we're glad to do during football season. And so we start now. And those of you who are savvy to the fact that we start at 5:30 know when the best time to call is. Let me explain the rules, or lack of them. There really aren't any. Just use your head. We don't talk about other hosts, other shows, that sort of thing. We don't do garage sales and that kind of thing. What you talk about could be political, or it doesn't have to be. It could be something that happened to you. It could be something we covered earlier in the week. It could be something you heard me say that you want to take issue with. That's fine too. But again, remembering it's a family show, the rule of the day is just use your head and hope that what you're calling about is interesting to other people. That's why we do this, to see what's on everybody's mind, and hopefully it is of interest to other folks too. And sometimes that starts a thread of conversation, and off we go in a direction. I was pretty taken aback at the left's attempts today and yesterday to somehow construe or construct a racial narrative around the criticism of Representative Empty Barrel Frederica Wilson. One guy even went she said she looked it up in the dictionary and found out that Empty Barrel was racist. I don't know if it was the Hill magazine, one of the big magazines, electronic magazines, sent a reporter out to search out the source of the empty barrel makes the most noise narrative, and got as far back as Plato. But it's not racist. There's no evidence, and of course it wasn't meant to be racist. So a representative, a leftist socialist representative, got up and told the story of how Frederica Wilson and John Kelly both grew up in segregated neighborhoods. And that empty barrel would have been the nicest thing said to Federica as she grew up in Florida, which was segregated by law. The empty barrel would have been a nicer thing that would have been said about her. It wouldn't have been said about her at all, probably. But just the utter fascination, infatuation, whatever you want to call it, with racism is beginning to fall on deaf ears. People are beginning to get tired of it. And you leftist socialists should be aware that there's an old childhood story, a little boy who cried wolf, and you know what happened to him. He got it. And this whole racist narrative you may have pulled with this one, with this Frederica Wilson thing, you may have started that ball rolling. One can but hope. because we are quite tired of it. Now, Tiffany is hard at work in the other room, and I'll bet she doesn't even know that I can't see the names. Oh, do you know? Okay. So, bear with me. Our telephone number, 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. And you can also reach me via text on the WDTK app on your smartphone. If you don't have it, just go to your smartphone's app store and search WDTK. Open it up. You'll see all kinds of features in there. It doesn't take up much room on your website. It is, or on your smartphone. It is free. And you can hear all of the fine Salem hosts interference-free. You can hear this program interference-free from just about anywhere. And also, there's features in there, and one of the features is Text John McCulloch. When you do that and hit that send button, it comes right here in real time into this screen I'm pointing to for the benefit of the people watching us on Facebook Live. This is the screen it comes into, and I see your message there. I see them all. I read them all. I don't comment on all of them, but most of them. And I do use some of the stuff and steal stuff from you folks, too, which I really appreciate your letting me do. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. We'll start things out today with Cyril in Southfield on the Patriot. Hi, Cyril. Go ahead.
Thank you for taking my call, Mr. McCulloch.
Sure.
Same statement, different day. Sorry about yesterday. It's contra Representative Wilson. Like the statement, they died with their boots on. The declaration that they knew what they were signing up for is a tribute to uncommon courage, another way of expressing the biblical teaching, slightly paraphrased here. Greater love has no man than to be willing to lay down his life for one's friends. Anyone who could find insult in that can only be either hopelessly dense or an ideologically obsessed fanatic seeking to inflict political wounds. Now the question, is there no honor on the left? Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for making it, Cyril. Good thoughts, as always. And you know, it is interesting. We talked yesterday about the things the left has taken from us. They were mentioned by John Kelly. They've taken so much more than was mentioned on there. It was pointed out by Chris to me today, and in the text feature, sanctity of marriage, and I mean, you name it. They've just they're really, and they wonder why people in flyover country, why the people who run this country, the engine that makes this country move, wonder why we're angry. Well, that's why. You can't just keep taking away the things that we built this country on. You can't do it. It's not going to happen. And you people who think you're going to start something on November 4th, think again. You just don't know. You have no clue. You're living in a bubble. And that bubble's going to break one of these days real soon. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. Let's go to Bruce in Grosse Pointe Farms on the Patriot. Hey, Bruce.
Yeah, hi, John. Thank you for taking my call again. I didn't plan on calling 2 days in a row, but after what happened down in Woodhaven today, I just had to call in. The security situation there is unfortunately, pretty much the same as the location where I work at. All we have is a turnstile. We got to wear badges. They do have a gate, John, where people can drive in, they use their gate passes. And I haven't really seen a lot of security checks there, but I know one thing. As long as I've been there, which has gone on 24 years come next May, somebody could bring God knows what kind of weapon into the plant, and nobody would know it until they actually tried to use the weapon. So I sure hope this is a wake-up call to my company, to Ford Motor Company, that will, they're going to have to start reviewing some of their security policies, because what happened today, thank God, nobody else was hurt. But they had SWAT teams out there. They had all kinds of law enforcement, multiple communities that sent their police departments out there to keep things on an even keel in that. And for that, we're very thankful. And I'm just glad, like I said, nobody else was injured. The shooter shot himself, and the investigation is still going on, obviously. But the security, I think, concerns need to be addressed, and not just auto plants, but I think all across the country. Given the heightened level of threat that we're facing in this country from terrorists.
And it's interesting, Bruce, that you mentioned the security, and at places other than auto plants. I remember when we returned to Detroit, and it was back in the year 2000, I believe. And we were coming through Atlanta, and my wife and I were following each other, and we had walkie-talkies, believe it or not. And anyway, to make a long story short, that was where I think the first incident of real multiple workplace violence took place, and it took place right at the time we were going through the town. There were sirens going off all around, and it was a Merrill Lynch office, if you remember correctly. Or if I remember
Merrill Lynch, my lord.
Yeah, and they got the guy, and I think he finally killed himself in a parking lot somewhere. But he'd done some at home, and then he went to the Merrill Lynch office, and then he went to some other office, and so forth. And so it's not something that's brand new, but it's something that we do need to pay attention to. And I appreciate your call, and I'm glad nobody else was hurt at Woodhaven.
Yeah, same here. Well, John, I appreciate you let me vent a little bit here.
No problem.
Okay. Well, look, you have yourself a great weekend.
If not here, where, Bruce? I mean, really. Have a great weekend. Appreciate your call. Let's talk with, let's see, Bobby in Joan, St. Clair Shores. You're next on the Patriot. Go ahead.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm listening to your show, and it's such an interesting conversation. My comment directly, I have to stop for a minute because I do feel a little intimidated talking with you, and I hope I don't get my.
Well, don't feel intimidated. There's no reason to feel that way.
Okay. Well, let me say what I want to say, and I believe one of the problems that I find with Trump is not an orator. He definitely can't talk smooth. He does connect to some of the base, but he doesn't. It's a big, large part of the base that he do not connect to. And I don't think anyone in his administration does. I think it's just a certain type of base. And so when he says something, people can definitely take it as they're going to take it as something that's not good. I'll just say that. And then, I'm just going to say from my own opinion, watching the race for him to become president, there's so many things that he said and did that I did not like. And
that's going to happen, Joan. That's going to happen. Here's what we're talking about on this program, just so you know. And I understand that he doesn't communicate with some people. I understand, too, that there are some people who shut him off and don't give him a chance to communicate because it's Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is bad. Donald Trump is a racist. Donald Trump is a misogynist. He's a, blah, 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 blah. He's none of those things, but they've been, had it drilled into him that he is. But what we got to get over in this country, and quickly, it's time, is that when I, as a white man, criticize a black politician, that doesn't make me racist. When he criticizes me, that doesn't make him racist. When I correct or criticize someone who's Hispanic, That doesn't mean that I'm prejudiced against people from Mexico or from Latin American countries. It means I'm criticizing that person's views. We got to get away from this. And it started with President Obama. Quite frankly, I don't know if it was his fault, but the people around him made it seem that it was. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't his fault. That when we criticized him, and there was plenty to criticize there, believe me, and there were good things that he did, but the idea that if you did criticize him, you're a racist is wrong. Imagine for a minute if in a workplace you couldn't criticize people of another race, and you're the boss now. You couldn't criticize people. So you're some guy over here, you're a black guy, you're a manager, and one of your white subordinates is messing up, costing the company money and ruining things for the stockholders. And you're afraid to criticize him for fear you'll be called a racist? It can't work that way. So when you hear that kind of talk coming out of this program, that's where it's coming from, not from true racists. You can't be in the business I'm in and be a racist and survive. Trust me.
Well, tell me this. Your opinion of the way that Trump presented himself when he was running for president. He actually talked about almost every race in a negative way and women in a negative way. That was just so disgusting.
Okay, now
no, you're saying, let me finish. You're saying that he's none of this, but the way that he's presenting himself is showing that he's all of this.
Okay, could it be that we're getting a little snowflakey here, all of us, that this political correctness is killing all of us? Because Donald Trump never said Mexicans are rapists. He never said that. Now, how does that make you feel? You think on that one for a while, because I've gone way too long on this call. He never said that, Joan, ever. And yet he is attributed to having said that. And 800-920, I'm getting way over on the clock here. Thank you so much for the call. Don't be a stranger. Don't be afraid to call back. Enjoy talking to you. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. This is Open Mouth Friday here on the McCulloch Show, and we'd sure like to talk to you. Now, what'll happen is that, around 6:05, the rush is going to hit with the people who aren't really familiar with the fact that we start early on Friday, and things will jam up. So if you want to get in, just take this hint from the host. And that's all the hint you're going to get. FM 101.5, AM 1400, The Patriot. I'm really excited about having Online Trading Academy as an advertiser on the show. I'm excited because of what I saw when I attended the investment and trading 3-hour introductory seminar. It's free. And what I saw was amazing. One of the things that I've been told for a long time is that, if you're really serious about making money and you want to find out how to make money, find somebody who's got money and ask them how they did it. And then go do what they did. Well, Online Trading Academy teaches techniques in trading from professionals who have done it, who are doing it right now. These professionals contract with Online Trading Academy to come in and teach the people who are students of Online Trading Academy. I mean, this isn't a hotel thing where they rent a room and, psych you up and then leave. This is a campus right here in Southfield where the professional traders come in under contract to Online Trading and teach how to make money, whether the market is going up or going down. All I can say, folks, is I think you should do what I did and attend a free 3-hour power trading workshop on investment and trading to find out how the professionals make money. You're going to get an overview of how they do it. They won't get into the specifics or into the actual core process of Online Trading Academy, which, by the way, is patented. But I can't think of time better spent. Here's the telephone number to call to make your reservation. 844-250-8723. That's 844-250-8723. Or you can go to patriotdetroit.com, click on the McCulloch Show up at the top banner, and that number's right there for you to use if you didn't write it down or you're driving. 844-250-8723, and be sure and let the folks at Online Trading, let them know John McCulloch sent you.
Now, on-time traffic and weather on the Patriot.
I-94 eastbound at Vernier, an accident in the left lane, slow from Livernois. I-94 eastbound at I-696, that accident cleared. It's slow from 8 Mile. I-94 eastbound before Harper Avenue in Macomb County, that accident cleared as well. It's slow from Gratiot. I-75 southbound after Dixie Highway in Springfield Township, accident left shoulder. I-75 northbound before East Holly Road, that accident cleared, but slow from Ortonville Road. 696 eastbound between Woodward and I-75, the left lane closed for construction. Traffic is slow from Telegraph. And beginning tonight at 8 p.m., the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel is scheduled to close in both directions for ceiling maintenance that goes through October 30th, first phase of a multi-phase project. Your weather forecast tonight, mostly clear, a low around 52. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 76. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low around 55. Right now, it's 71 degrees. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 and AM 1400.
Had a great show with Dr. Richard Klein last night on getting out of the pain lane. And Dr. Richard Klein, of course, a specially educated neuromuscular dentist with over 30 years' experience managing TMJ and sleep apnea disorders. At the Michigan Head and Neck Institute, we were astounded last night at the number of text questions that came in, and we really appreciated people doing that. And a lot of great information was traded back and forth, and it was really a very interesting program. And, kind of the contents of that program, not all of it, of course, but some of it, is contained at tmjmichigan.com. That's the website maintained by Dr. Richard Klein. That's where he lists the symptoms, at least the ones we know about, of TMJ disorder and sleep apnea. And when you go there, you might be surprised if you haven't been. Go to tmjmichigan.com and look at the symptoms there, and if they match symptoms that are bothering you, then it's time to get an evaluation appointment. All the information is right there at tmjmichigan.com to get a hold of Dr. Richard Klein at the Michigan Head and Neck Institute, and please let him know John McCulloch sent you.
MotorCityHelpWanted.com salutes the Employee of the Month, the one employee you can't live without. The others, let's just call them Dave.
Dave, why have you been shredding for hours?
The boss said we should cut costs, Mr. Employee of the Month.
How does this cut costs?
These are the expense reports for the whole year.
You shredded them all?
Thanks to me, our expenses this year are zero.
If you don't mind hiring Daves, go to the national job boards. They may be free, but trust us, they'll cost you. We make it easy to post a job, and it's local, so you won't get spammed by faraway job seekers. MotorCityHelpWanted.com. Local jobs that work.
The John McCulloch Show is sponsored in part by AzerTech Public Adjusters.
Got a text here from Pete, which I can't read now because we're having a bit of a problem with the text feature, but it'll be over with in just a second. There we go. All set. In any case, Pete sends in the question, given the empty barrels fashion sense, would it be racist to accuse Frederica Wilson of being all hat and no cattle? Sorry about that, Pete, but it's already been used. It was a headline in one of the news services, and that one's already been used. But if that came out of your head and you hadn't seen it yet, you're in the wrong business. You should be coming up with headlines. That's a great one. Okay, next call, Bob in Royal Oak on the Patriot. Hi, Bob.
Yeah, thanks for putting me on, John. I'll tell you, I'm absolutely appalled at how the media is playing this. Two things. Number one, I don't know if anybody's ever read the book. It's called The Bait of Satan. It's by John Bevere. It's a great book. It talks about how Satan uses offense between people, between neighbors, between husband and wife to stir conflict. And if our ears are so sensitive to something that we can construe as offensive, even though it may not be, we need to take a look at that. And I think that's one of the things that's going on here. The other thing is that what was Representative Frederica doing in this widow's home when the president was supposed to be calling and giving his condolences. How did that happen?
I don't know that she was in the home. I think she listened in on the conversation.
Well, how did she listen in on the conversation?
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming that she was there and listened in on the conversation. Otherwise, get her for wiretapping. But I mean, how did she listen in on the conversation?
You're right.
Why was she there?
I can't answer that question. I don't think this is going to do her any good, by the way. And I don't think it's done Donald Trump or John Kelly any harm, because it gave Kelly the opportunity for all to see, to show and demonstrate the tremendous care and love for this country that he has. And it was very moving. And when he was talking about his son, he was very close to tears. And those are the kind of people that we have in this administration, and I think it was time for us to show that, and it looked really good. Appreciate the call, Bob, and I thank you very much for joining us. You're listening to FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriot, WDTK, Detroit. Here's Bobby in New Baltimore. Bobby, thanks for hanging on. You're next on The Patriot. Go ahead.
All right, John. Thanks again for taking my call, and I want to give you a bravo kudos for handling that second from last caller with more class than a Tiffany's diamond. You put her in her place the right way, and you did it in a classy way. Now, my comment is I want to go back to what you said yesterday about that empty globalist suit, George W. Bush. You well pointed out that he was that, and he is. Now, remember when Hurricane Katrina hit, the liberal media establishment and the Democrats hit him with everything racist in the book they possibly could, did they not? I mean, they just railroaded him. They made him look like the worst dirtbag racist on the planet. Well, you know what? We've got a new president right now who's not going to roll over and play dead. And George W. Bush can shut the heck up, because I think the American people can see right through it, and we support our president for sticking up against the liberal Democrats and CNN and MSNBC and all that garbage. What do you think?
Bobby, I think you've hit the nail right on the head, and I think that's one of the things that Joan, when I was talking with her, I think that's one of the things that she is interpreting differently from what it's meant. In other words, she's used to people not firing back, people from the right side of the aisle. And George W. Bush was one of them. I mean, he wouldn't say, you know what, if he had a mouthful. When he was president, they called him everything, and so Donald Trump stands up there and says, I'm not going to take this. And he fires back. And people misinterpret that as being some sort of a bad guy. Or no, he's just sticking up for himself and sticking up for the Republic. And I think you hit it right on the head. I really appreciate the call. Have yourself a great day. Or rest of the day. And what a day it is. Jeez. It's beautiful. Is this October 20th? Amazing. Ken from Livonia, you're next on The Patriot. Go ahead.
John?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to know, I missed the name calling. A fella called in about a week ago while you had the guest host, and he mentioned that there is a government document regarding the saluting of the flag by citizens and by soldiers. And I didn't copy down the number, but there's something that you could look for and see if you could find it. And you might even have a record of it because they did look it up.
I don't have, I can go back, but I can't do it now, obviously.
Pardon?
I can go back, but I can't do it now.
No, I understand. I'm just saying that you could try to take a look at it.
But you know what? With all the zaniness that goes on, Ken, and people burning flags and everything, you wind up, what are you going to do, throw everybody in jail? I just, brand people like that as people who don't care for the country, and, if they want to burn the flag, fine, go burn the flag, but better yet, go find somebody else's flag to burn. Go find another country where you can live and be as free as you are here, and then go live there. That's my solution to the problem. Everybody says, well, no, we're going to change this country to make it better. No, you're not. We've proven that last November, and it's not going to happen. I appreciate the call. Thanks for pointing that out. I'll check the records and see if I can get that regulation, because I'd be interested in seeing it. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. This is Open Mouth Friday, and if you're just tuning in, we've been at this for half an hour, and we're going to be going out at 6:30 to make room for Catholic High School football pregame. So you want to get in? Well, you're going to get a busy signal now, but just keep trying, and I'll get you in somehow here on the Patriot. When I go into Greg Chiropractic Life Centers, which I do about every other week, and have a chance to see Dr. Mason and the other fine folks there, Dr. Mason is kind of the guy who takes care of me. It's so gratifying, and it really is, for me to run into people who say, oh, John, because they see my name on the register that I sign when I come in, and they, are you John? Yeah, and we get into conversations, and they're people that are there because they heard it here, and I got to tell you, that makes me feel so good, because many of these folks are people who would never have gone and sought the advice of a chiropractor had they not heard me talk about it. You don't know what that does to me. It makes me feel very, very good. You can do the same thing, but you don't have to go. You can go to one of the doctor's reports. That's the meetings that Dr. Greg has. And when at Greg Chiropractic Life Centers, he does one on Monday in Troy and on Wednesday in Garden City. And that's where you go at 6 o'clock in the evening. I'll have to get after him for competing with the show, but that's a story for another day. You go at 6, and he talks about chiropractic, and then you get to ask questions. And you can ask questions that you might think would be embarrassing for him, things that you may have heard, things that rumors that you might have heard or whatever, doubts that you have about chiropractic. He wants to hear them all, because he, like me, feels that, look, it's your pain. You should go get the answers for yourself. Don't listen to somebody else. Go to somebody, get it from the horse's mouth. And that's Monday in Troy, and Wednesday out in Garden City. And the number for both, 734-525-8422. That's 734-525-8422. Or you can go to the John McCulloch Show section at patriotdetroit.com to go to the John McCulloch Show, and his number is listed there too. 734-525-8422 for Dr. James Greg Chiropractic Life Centers. Please let him know John McCulloch told you about it.
Now, on-time traffic, news, and weather on the Patriot.
I-94 eastbound of Vernier, there's an accident in the left lane slowing from M10 The Lodge. I-75 southbound after Dixie Highway in Springfield Township, an accident on the left shoulder. I-696 eastbound between Woodward and I-75, the left lane closed for construction. Traffic is slow from Telegraph. And 96, the Jeffries eastbound and westbound at West Grand Boulevard. The left lane's blocked in both directions because of the closure of West Grand Boulevard between I-96 and Grand River. The work there scheduled through November 6th. Checking on the slowdowns in the usual spots for this evening. M39, the Southfield northbound between Warren Avenue and Joy Road. M39, the Southfield southbound between 8 Mile and Grand River. And M39, the Southfield southbound between I-96 and Michigan Avenue. M59 eastbound between DeQuinder and Van Dyke, also heavy traffic there. Your weather forecast tonight, mostly clear, a low around 52. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 76. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low around 55. Right now, it's 71 degrees. From the townhall.com newsroom, Woodhaven police say a man who worked at the Ford Motor Company stamping plant took a gun into the facility this morning.
When I heard 5 gunshots and then a short pause and I heard another 3.
The man apparently had a labor relations issue and used the gun on himself as an officer approached him. The shooter did not survive, but did not fire the weapon at anyone else, and no other injuries have been reported. A package dropped off inside the facility was turned over to the bomb squad, but turned out to be harmless. The plant, which has approximately 450 employees, was evacuated. Drivers using the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel will be diverted to the Ambassador Bridge for the next 10 days. Construction to repair the roof of the tunnel will begin at 8 o'clock tonight and will continue until October 30th. The work also means the bus service between Detroit and Windsor will also be shut down. This will be the first of several projects to upgrade the tunnel. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 and AM 1400.
Hey, high school football fans, Jeremy Otto here. Join Brendan Johnson and me tonight at 6:30 p.m. as Cabrini hosts Detroit University Prep Math and Science and the Catholic League Game of the Week. Cabrini is looking for a shot to qualify for the state playoffs for the first time since 2012 with a win. That's the Monarchs and the Cobras in the Catholic League Game of the Week tonight at 6:30. Be sure to join us on social media with hashtag CHSLGO. That's hashtag CHSLGO. And right here on FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriot.
The John McCulloch Show is brought to you in part by Online Trading Academy.
FM 101.5, AM 1400, The Patriot. This is Open Mouth Friday, and this is Larry in Macomb on The Patriot. Hey, Larry, go ahead.
Hi, John. How you been? I just wanted to say about one thing about my life here. It's like, I don't know about all this divisiveness that's going on in this country anymore because of the fact, I mean, look at here in Detroit. You got Comey Young Jr. running and throwing out the race card every time he can. And it's not like that. I grew up in black privilege. In other words, what was that they came up with?
Talk about affirmative action?
Affirmative action. Now, I had to pull myself up with the bootstraps, get myself a loan, and go to school to better myself. And I worked at a job, a good job, because of that. And if nobody wants to do that, quit playing the race card just because you want to sit home and do nothing. That's all I really got to say, John. You know, I mean, I've worked hard for all my life.
I hear you, Larry, and thank you for the call. It's Open Mouth Friday, folks, and you know that's why we do it. I'm reminded that when we're talking about the military services, the armed services of America, I'm reminded by a texter, Nick from Warren, that when people sign up, they're pretty much writing a blank check to the United States of America, to the people of the United States of America, for the amount up to and including their life. And they volunteer to do it, to protect everyone in the country. And all races and all creeds join the service, and all races and all creeds are protected by the military service. Not just a certain race, creed, or color. Nick, that's I butchered it the way I read it, but it was a very beautiful sentiment, and thank you. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Let's go now to Gary at Hazel Park on the Patriot. Hi, Gary.
Hey, John. You know, this narrative that the President of the United States has got all kinds of immoral problems and he's racist and misogynist and all this other stuff. Instead of talking about that, why don't they talk about his achievements? Like he's appointing several Christian judges. He got out of TPP. The Paris Climate Accord. He got out of that. He boosted the military. He shut down the border. He crippled Obamacare. He opened up the energy industry. I think he stopped the Common Core. I'm not sure about that. But he's done great things with the VA. And during this whole time, I don't remember him ever saying that he's going to take away the right for women to vote or he's going to reenact the Jim Crow laws or anything close to that. So this narrative that the left has just been able to push on us, and we talk about it, and we're going to talk about it for the next 3 years, that this guy's some kind of animal, it's just wrong.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, wouldn't it be nice to see what he could accomplish and what he could do if he didn't have to spend the time that he has to spend hitting back?
Right. If John McCain would get on the program.
Well, don't get me started with that one.
Oh, no, please, do.
No, I'm not gonna. You can't goad me into it. If anybody could, you could, but you're not going to get it today. I'll tell you that. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate the call, as always. 800-923-9385. Let me see who's up next here. We'll go to, I believe it's Paul in Waterford on the Patriot. Hey, Paul, go ahead.
Hi, John. Hey, want to give a little kudos to Sean Belizen. I think I'm saying his name right. He did a fine job when you were on vacation, and I've always been a fan of his on the different sports talk shows he's been on in Detroit over the last, 10, 15, 20 years. And it's really refreshing to have a sports guy be on the right side of politics and life in general. I don't know what it is with all these sports announcers, and we listen to the sports talk radio at work all day. It's in our shop, and these guys are so liberal. It's just unreal. And the guy that's on a cross Mary now, I can't listen to him for more than 10 seconds. It's just, I don't know, what is it that these guys are so liberal on all this sports stuff? I don't get it.
I don't either. It could be their peers. It could be their education. If they have a college degree, it's a 90% chance they've been pounded with the liberal narrative for the entire time they were in college. It's a disease. It's a mental disease. It's a way of thinking. I'm reading Mark Levin's Rediscovering Americanism, and I urge everybody to read it because it explains the liberal narrative, the liberal thinking, and how dangerous it is, and why, and how through history it has ruined societies, and it's anyway. But I appreciate what you're saying about Sean, and I'm sure he appreciates it too. He's a fine broadcaster. I'm very privileged to have him fill in for me when he can. I hope he can continue to do it. Maybe he can, maybe he can't, but it's not, if he doesn't, it's not because of his performance, because I've got nothing but rave reviews for him, and I enjoy listening to him myself when I have a chance. Appreciate your call, and I appreciate the support for him. Oh, geez, I got to watch that clock. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. This is Open Mouth Friday here on the McCulloch Show on FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriot. AzerTech Public Adjusters, they're licensed by the state of Michigan to help you get the best settlement possible from your insurance company in a property insurance claim at your home or business. One of the things that I try to impress on people is that what they do is, let's just say a tree falls and hurts your house. Let's say that, and it crashes through the roof and it gets into a bedroom. It messes up things in the attic. It messes up the bedroom. You've got window problems. You got roof problems. You got structural problems and all this kind of thing. And you just look at that and go, where do I start? And what you have to understand about the people at AzerTech is they do this kind of stuff every day. Every day. They're out with sewer leaks and water leaks and fires and all the other kinds of disasters that can hit a home or business. They do it every day. They know their way around, and they know how to get the best settlement possible out of your property insurance claim. They do. Oftentimes, they get 3 to 5 times as much as the insurance company offers the first time. Now, they can also talk to you about your insurance policy, about what's in it, and even more importantly, sometimes what isn't in it. And they'll also talk to you about insurance companies, and they'll tell you what kind of insurance company it is when it comes time to file a claim. And there are some bad ones out there, and there are some good ones. They'll talk to you about all that stuff. They're very generous with their time, and their number is easy. You ought to have it on your refrigerator. You ought to have it in a drawer at work, because your first call should not be to your insurance company in a claim situation. It should be to AzerTech. Let them take it over and let them do it. 855-CLAIM-55. That's 855-CLAIM-55. 855-CLAIM-55 for AzerTech Public Adjusters, and please let them know you heard about it from John McCulloch.
Now, on-time traffic and weather on the Patriot.
I-94 eastbound at Vernier, that accident cleared, slow from I-75. I-75 southbound after Dixie Highway in Springfield Township, that accident has cleared. I-696 eastbound between Woodward and I-75, the left lane closed for construction. Traffic is slowing from Southfield Road. Beginning tonight at 8 p.m., the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel is scheduled to close in both directions for sealing maintenance through October 30th. It's the first of many phases of that project. And West Grand Boulevard between I-96 and Grand River Avenue is closed through November 6th. DeQuinder Road between Square Lake Road and Burning Bush Drive, that's closed for construction through November 15th. Your weather forecast tonight, mostly clear, a low around 52. Saturday, mostly sunny, high near 76. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low around 55. Right now, it's 67 degrees. We update traffic and weather 4 times an hour. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 and AM 1400.
You know secondhand smoke is a health risk. When you see someone smoking or you smell smoke, you avoid it. Did you know the second leading cause of lung cancer cannot be seen, smelled, or tasted? It's radon gas. It may cause over 600 new lung cancers in Michigan this year. And the only way to know you're safe from radon is to have your home tested. 1 in 8 Michigan homes test positive for dangerous levels of radon gas. Call 1-800-RADON-GAS to learn more about radon and having your home tested. This message sponsored by the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
The John McCulloch Show is brought to you in part by Cruise Hearing Aid Services.
And I want to point out to our caller earlier in the day who was a little bit nervous about being on the air with me, here's an example I'll give her and you as to the kind of things that do and don't happen when you're going across racial lines. Not once have I heard anyone accuse Representative Frederica Wilson of cultural appropriation for wearing a cowboy hat. Not once. And I'm not accusing her either. Just saying. And here's Harry in Dearborn on the Patriot. Harry, go ahead.
Yes. I'd like to say, number one, that I thank God every morning when I wake up that I was born in America, and my mother and father were in the military, I was in the military, and all of us, and we respect our country and our flag. And we were doing a little study, some fellows and I, and back in 1865, a man named Abraham Lincoln was shot, and then James Garfield was shot, and then back in 75, there was some shots fired at Gerald Ford, and there was Ronald Reagan was shot, and this list goes on. There's 17 of them. And what I found out, all of them were registered Democrats that did this, every single one. And then when we went down on it to find out, there was not one NRA member, not a Tea Party member, a Republican conservative was any part of this. And I'm wondering, the Democrats are always wanting to take the guns away from people, right?
So they say.
Yeah, well, I think they should take the guns away from the Democrats because I think they're hurting a lot of people.
Well said, my friend. Thank you for the call, Harry. It's a lot of research he did. Are you sure there was no? Oh, I got a text here I wish I could share with you, and I can't. So I'm just going to move on. Here's Al in Detroit on the Patriot. Hi, Al.
John, you got to give me a minute today. Remember when I told you that it was all going to backfire on Jim Comey and everybody at the FBI?
Yeah.
Now that they were investigating the uranium one 7 years ago, the same people that are investigating Donald Trump were the people in charge of the corruption that was going for that uranium one deal. You got Bob Mueller there.
Yeah, you got Mueller and
there.
Yeah.
Rod Rosenstein there.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that nobody has said these people need to step down. You're doing closed-door meetings with Loretta Lynch today. Why is it a closed door? Who's paying the people? Are we paying these people? Aren't Americans the ones that are paying these people that are doing these hearings, these multiple investigations into a collusion that probably was made up in the dossier that the GPS people are saying we want to take the fifth on and they don't want to share the bank records of who paid them? What is this?
It's not fair, is it?
No, it's not even about being fair, John. This is corruption beyond corruption.
Yep.
They need somebody to come in there with a clean record to say, I'm investigating this from top to bottom.
I think
$145 million.
I think you're going to see
people need to go to jail. I don't care if it's the president, Obama. I don't care if it's Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton. I don't care who you are in America. Everybody should be treated the one way with justice. Period.
Well said, Al. Thank you very much for the call. I really appreciate it. And you're absolutely right. Let's see. Let's go to Gary in Detroit on the Patriot. Hi, Gary.
Oh, this is Jerry.
Okay, Jerry.
It's me, the talk show stalker. In response to a few of your callers earlier, I heard one caller talking about, like a lot of white people have always been telling black people this for decades, about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and all this other stuff. Well, it's kind of hard to pull yourself up by your bootstraps when you've been denied the very boots to which those bootstraps are attached. And I think it's really kind of condescending and patronizing.
Actually, Jerry, he was talking about himself. He said that he had to pull himself up by his bootstraps. He was not mentioning anything about the. I can see where if you got in, and didn't hear it all, that you might think that. But thanks for the call.
Attention, this is a public notice from Citizens Disability. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right if you suffer from physical and mental disability. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, Citizens Disability can help. You'll be given an advocate who will evaluate your situation, handle your application, and deal with Social Security. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. We only get paid if you win your case. There are a number of conditions that could make you eligible for disability benefits, many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call Citizens Disability today to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation. 800-620-1624, 800-620-1624, 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
Now, you want one, and you can get two, and you know what it is. It's MyPillow, so do it. MyPillow.com, promo code WDTK. You'll get two MyPillows for the price of one. That's MyPillow.com, promo code WDTK. Two MyPillows for the price of one, and you too can start sleeping the way nature intended.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Promo code WDTK. Here's Paul in Newport on the Patriot. Hi, Paul.
Hi, good evening. I want to respond to a question which you have been asking over the air as to whether Hillary and Bill and Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch and all these folks that may be involved in this corruption, especially the Uranium One deal, should be put on trial. Absolutely, yes. Let's start draining the swamp from the top down, okay? And by the way, that requires sinking all the way to the bottom.
Now, you think then that we should spend the money and devote the time to prosecuting these people and sending them to jail. What good does that do?
What good does it do? It certainly exposes how deep the corruption goes, and it shuts the left up for generations.
And I think it does one other thing. It sends a message to other people who would do it, saying, the game is changed. The game is over. No longer will Washington, D.C. be a giant ATM for every Tom, Dick, and Harry harebrained scheme that comes up to swindle money. And I think that's the reason we should send somebody to jail. If they're guilty, let's not send them to jail if they're innocent, but let's send them if they're guilty. I agree with you, Paul, and appreciate the call. Thank you very much for joining us tonight here on Open Mouth Friday. And thanks for Tiffany Little, or to Tiffany Little, for doing a yeoman's job with the studio technical duties this evening. And let's see, Steve Dealey is our producer. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling. Thank you for texting. And thank you for watching. The empty can rattles the most. Never forget that. I'm John McCulloch. Till we talk Monday afternoon at 6. Have as good a weekend as you can.
The John McCulloch Show is sponsored in part by Dr. Richard Klein of Michigan Head and Neck, Greg Chiropractic Life Center, Azer Tech Public Adjusters, Cruise Hearing Aid Centers, and Online Trading Academy. The John McCulloch Show on the new FM 101.5 and AM 1400.
You can't handle the truth.
The Patriot.
This is Hugh Hewitt for the Salem Media Group. The defeat of ISIS in its self-proclaimed capital of Raqqa, in its self-proclaimed caliphate,